Okay, well, I would say let's start our leaders talk. So welcome everyone who joined this morning. And my name is Marcus, for the one who don't know me, Marcus Gottschalk, and I'm Managing Director at Change Leadership and Partners. Anna, before I introduce you, let me quickly, well, people come to me and say, Marcus, why do you do leaders talk? Why do you interview professionals and have a 30 minute conversation? And actually, it's an interesting one because we always, especially in the consulting industry, we claim to be thought leaders. We claim to create knowledge and contribute to knowledge. But actually, that's not 100% true. There's little ways or not many ways where we can do that. But leaders talk is something where we can create knowledge, where we can interview like you, Anna. We can interview people, we can interview professionals who are in the midst of something, of a leadership challenge, of a coaching challenge, and we can learn from you. And I think that's a wonderful format, and that's also why I find this format so nourishing, and we contribute to learning, and learning is what we do. So Anna, thank you very much for joining us today. Let me say a word to you. Anna Aslanova, Senior Learning and Development Expert at Access Holding. And Access Holding, and I'm sure, Anna, you will tell us a bit more about Access Holding, but Access Holding is an international network of small business banks all over the world, but I think mainly or predominantly also in Africa. And then of course the question comes, an international network of small business banks, why do they need a culture for coaching? So Anna, please, I will hand over to you. Maybe you introduce yourself, you tell us a bit what Access Holding is and why a coaching culture for Access Holding.
Marcus, thank you very much for having me for Leaders Talk. It's really an honor for me. And I think it's great opportunity also for sharing knowledge and experience, as you rightly said. A few words about myself, as you actually already introduced myself. I will just add that my main passion is in learning and development and coaching. I have 15 years experience in human resources, mainly in the field of finance and banking. I'm focusing on creating coaching culture, what I'm going to talk today during this Leaders Talk. And also I work on development different capacity building programs for our organization. I joined Access Holding almost 5 years ago as a learning and development expert, and since then I'm working tightly with heads of HR and learning and development managers, as well as our management teams in the banks. And let me share my small presentation, which I have prepared for today.
Please.
But I would talk a little bit about Access Holding, and also share some thoughts about our organization and coaching culture, which is, as you rightly said, is a growing reality for us. I hope you see my presentation.
It's wonderful. Please give us some background information. It would be great.
Yes. So about Access Holding. Access Holding is a private company which was established in 2006 as a partnership among high-profile investors from private and public sector, with the main purpose to provide fair financial services to entrepreneurs in emerging and developing countries. And as you have rightly said, we have 7 banks, 6 of which are on African continent. with total number of employees around 7,000 across 7 banks. And one of our banks is in Georgia, actually the country where I'm from. We have a small head office here in Berlin with around 50 employees. And our main purpose is support our network banks in different business areas. Recently, as a proof of our mission, I traveled to one of our banks in Zambia for the project of women empowerment, with the main purpose to train 5,000 women in basic financial literacy. This was a great project, and I hope it will meet its purpose. And
And I was seeing that picture. Now I'm really curious because we're not talking only about Europe or about the Western world. We talk about Africa and we talk about different cultures. And now I'm even more interested why you decided to create a coaching culture. Sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you for this question, because this is really everything starts with why, right? Why we started, and before I start talking about coaching culture, I want first to identify what is coaching. And I borrowed this definition from International Coaching Federation. I'm a certified coach from International Coaching Federation, and I believe and agree with the definition of this coaching as a partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. And I would like to add also some differences between coaching and other developmental interventions, because there are sometimes so many questions, but what is coaching? And I want just to bring a few that coaching differs from mentoring, because during mentoring, you give advices, you share your knowledge and experience. It is different from consultancy. During consultancy, you also share an already ready-made process, you advise a lot. It is very different from training, because you don't teach a content during coaching sessions. And of course, it is different from psychotherapy. We don't treat mental disorders during coaching interventions. And again, why we decided to create coaching culture is because we believe in Access Group that talents are growing within organizations. And we encourage our employees to learn and develop. And coaching is a great tool that supports unleashing this potential in people, supporting our colleagues to come up with their own solutions, and also work on leadership challenges that are real, from real life, and that exist now in this moment. This is pretty much why we decided to start working on implementing coaching culture. And as you rightly they understand why they are a team and how they can bring their strengths to the team and build on each other's strengths and even weaknesses sometimes. So team coaching is something that we are focusing on this year, and we will launch this training soon. And I think during next Leaders Talk, I'll be able to tell you more about how team coaching is developing in Access Holding.
But thank you for sharing. And if I understand that correctly, so the leadership development, and you call that leadership development program, and I find that very interesting, because leadership development program is in my books, maybe something slightly different, where we have different competencies and we're working on different topics from conflict management to, transformative leadership and so on and so forth. But what I can see is here that you are basically working on the individual and as a whole, as you say, but then you're also taking the whole team into account. So it's not only the leader, it is also the leader and their teams.
Absolutely. And I think I forgot to mention that our 360-degree assessment is based on a set of leadership competencies, which we decided in Access Holding to be our main driver. And of course, we focus on these competencies. And as you rightly said, that yes, it's a leader in individual coaching sessions, and it's a leader and the team. Because we all know that, okay, the result cannot be achieved only by working alone. And you may have a great leader, but if you don't have a supportive team, it's very difficult to get the result you want. That's why we decided, okay, but let's bring team together. Let's show that they can work and show their vulnerability at the same time while working together. This is something, as I said, is still in the implementation process, but yeah. I have also learned a lot of best practices from other organizations and how is it working in other organizations. So I honestly believe in it.
Absolutely. And Anna, let me ask you another difficult question here. How is that perceived, this initiative, by the top management / executive board of Access Holding? How do they embrace, or what do they say about this initiative?
And this is really challenging question. Okay, let me start that coaching is a very new area of development. We all know that. And as I also said, the coaching is pretty much in relationship with change, right? So from my perspective, I feel a huge support of our management. They want this change and they want employees to develop. And this is a huge. And of course, sometimes there are some resistance because some people are not just ready for change. And in coaching, we know that, okay, it is fine not to be ready and we don't push. But having this support and also bringing up some showcases when senior management is in coaching relationship, when they do coaching, it is a really great showcase and they become role models for other people. And this is supporting a lot the implementation of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Giving coaching opportunities to more people, and then also showing how they have benefited. And of course, not everyone in the organization is embracing it on the same level, but focusing on those change agents who are ready to experiment and try something for the first time. So my approach is usually, okay, we do it with those who are ready, we do it with those who want to change, and then the rest of the team also kind of, looking to each other and wanting it by themselves.
Can you give us a little idea about your timeline? When did you start and when do you, you probably will never end, but when is the project fulfilled to your satisfaction?
Yeah, I think we start in 2000. We started the first coaching training in 2018. 19, but by that time it was just a coaching training. We were still identifying how it will proceed. And then fortunately, we also got some in-house knowledge and expertise. And then we started thinking, but how this model can work and become relevant for us. And first we started using coaching as a tool to support traditional learning and supporting employees to identify the relevance in traditional knowledge and training and bringing this knowledge to their daily life and experience. And then after some time, we realized that, okay, but we need this embedded process that everyone in the organization at least understands what is coaching all about. And then next step, they start obtaining these coaching skills, which become their managerial tool.
All right. Okay. So when do you think you will? Yeah. Is there an end in sight? You started 2019.
Yeah, I don't think that there's an end because leaders are evolving, right? So it's not that we work all the time with the same leaders. It's not that coaching has no end point from my point of view. Even I work with my coach all the time. Because, okay, you work on some topics, you finish this arc of coaching, the circle, maybe you have some months off, but then at some point you realize that there are more topics you want to work, you want to continue working. And coaching becomes something that becomes part of your support team, something like this. Okay, I need to brainstorm, I need to get challenged by somebody. I need to talk to my coach. So, and I believe in organization, it is never ending process. You will never say that, okay, coaching is fully implemented and we don't continue it anymore. Then it means something went wrong and it wasn't really properly implemented.
You know what I like here, Anna, is that you are creating in your organization, that's my learning and my take for today, you're creating with almost 7,000 people a thought-provoking creative process. And I think most important, you're working on real life problems. And that is what we in leadership development always want to achieve, but not always do, to be honest. So I think that is something very admirable. Also, what I learned is that you focus on maybe solely on coaching. Maybe coaching is enough, that you can, that you enable people to work on real life issues and whatever comes, and then you don't need anything else. So I think that's my take here, and and that persistently from different angles you approach in your organization, so that that it is not an alien concept. Maybe one more thing about culture, because I started with culture and with all the different countries. Do you see differences in different countries? Because you said, coaching is very new. Sometimes it is even still perceived as something alien, too much to my personal life, associated with therapy. How is that in different cultures?
Before I answer to this question, I also want to make a small comment regarding your previous observation that only coaching is not enough. In our situation, we build on coaching culture already based on some different capacity building programs, which are traditional learning opportunities for our employees, which are building this knowledge. And then coaching comes in as a tool to support this knowledge to be used and it becomes more relevant.
Thanks for clarifying.
When you talk about culture, of course it's different, because all our 7 banks are very different from each other. Some banks are more ready for coaching, maybe other banks not yet fully, but at the same time, what is like the common denominator for all of them? We have leaders everywhere and we have change agents everywhere who wants to experiment and try it. So this is what is supporting to implement coaching in even so diverse cultural organization.
That's wonderful. And I will take that as the end of this session, because we are nearing 11:30 European time. And thank you very much, Anna. I think I learned a lot, and I'm in awe how you do that and how persistently you're working with your leaders and your team. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It was very interesting for me as well.
Okay, and to everyone who is still listening, if you are a professional, a leader, and if you would like to share something you're proud of, a leadership topic, a coaching topic, a change topic, something you would say, hey, we achieved that in our professional life, then please reach out, and we might have you in our next Leaders Talk.